Everything changed in a matter of seconds. Welcome to NFL Nexus. We are so glad you are here for this explainer. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, and comment on what you thought down below. And if you really want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member. We appreciate you. All right, let's get into it. Usually we look at data, we look at historical trends, we break down playbooks, but today we are freezing time. We're looking at a single heart-stopping moment in sports entertainment. A moment where the line between a brilliantly executed, light-hearted theatrical performance and a multi-million-dollar franchise disaster just vanished completely. We are looking at Alvin Kamara, the Savannah Bananas, and a 15-second stunt that literally sent an entire NFL city into a cold, terrifying sweat. Let's set the scene.
May 23, 2026, Neyland Stadium. Over 100,000 fans hold their breath. You really need to picture the scene to truly understand the sheer gravity of what happened here. This isn't a sleepy Sunday afternoon at a local minor league park. It is a sold-out, deafening cathedral of football in Knoxville, Tennessee. The lights are blinding. The energy in the building is absolutely electric. And walking out onto the field, in full uniform, stepping onto the dirt, is an absolute NFL superstar. The stage is perfectly set for a triumphant, feel-good return of a hometown hero. The crowd is ready to explode. But then, the script violently flips.
What happens when a franchise's hopes suddenly grab their hamstring? I want you to imagine being a fan, a coach, or a front office executive for the New Orleans Saints. You are just scrolling online and you are watching this viral clip on your phone. You see your star running back, your offensive centerpiece, accelerate into a sprint, and then suddenly, violently, he reaches down and grabs the back of his leg. The biomechanics of a pulled hamstring, they are unmistakable. You see the sudden deceleration. You see the agonizing grimace. And for a fleeting, terrifying moment, the illusion is absolute. Your heart drops into your stomach, because it is the exact catastrophic nightmare scenario that completely derails a grueling football season before training camp even officially begins.
Okay, let's dive into this scene. We need to break down the timeline of this chaos step by step. 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Kamara enters the game against the Texas Tailgaters as a pinch runner. The crowd absolutely erupts. 5 seconds in, the sprint to the next base begins, followed almost instantly by the fake injury. The collective gasp inside that colossal stadium is palpable. 100,000 people suddenly go dead silent. 10 seconds, the grimace turns into a smirk, the heavy limp suddenly turns into a rhythm, and the ruse is completely revealed with a dance. The tension instantly shatters into massive laughter, and on the very next play, Dan Oberst hits a 2-run homer, and Kamara casually crosses home plate. It is a masterpiece of scripted, cinematic tension. But beneath the laughter and the viral sharing lay a very grim reality for his career.
Section 1. High stakes in New Orleans, the fragility of a football season.
To really understand the panic back home in Louisiana, we have to deeply understand Kamara's current reality. The stunt was incredibly funny in Knoxville, sure, but the Saints are a team existing on a razor's edge right now. Look at this cold, hard number. 471. That is the absolute entirety of Alvin Kamara's rushing yardage from last season. For a player of his elite caliber, a player who has routinely carried the entire offensive identity of the New Orleans Saints on his back, this number is shockingly dangerously low. And it wasn't due to a sudden lack of elite talent. It was due to the exact precise thing he pretended to suffer on that baseball diamond: injury, combined with a dramatically diminished workload. That number is exactly why no one in New Orleans was laughing at first.
So, the absolutely crucial point we need to make here is the context surrounding this specific player is heavily loaded right now. First off, he is approaching his age 30 season. In the NFL, particularly for running backs taking constant hits, turning 30 is widely viewed as a very perilous cliff. It's when production historically plummets. Combine that scary age with a body that has been plagued by frustrating recent injury setbacks, add in a strangely diminished workload in the offensive scheme, he's just not getting the ball like he used to, and finally, factor in a contract and a future with the Saints that is highly, highly uncertain. Every single time he steps onto a field right now, even a minor league baseball field, his future and the team's future literally hangs in the balance. The sight of him limping wasn't just a brief physical scare, it was an existential one.
And look, if you think the panic from the fans was just an overreaction, you need to read this from Yard Barker. Quote, "One former MLB player actually tore his hamstring while playing in a Bananas game." End quote. That actually happened. And this brilliantly illustrates the core issue here. While the Savannah Bananas are an incredibly fun entertainment product, the physical risks on that field are very, very real. You're wearing cleats. The dirt is real. The sudden bursts of explosive speed are real. The human body doesn't know it's supposed to be participating in a viral joke. For an NFL running back actively nursing a fragile physical state and staring down a massive contract year, participating in this highly kinetic theater was an incredible, undeniable risk.
Section 2. The banana ball phenomenon, operating on a different scale.
Now, to understand why he would even take that kind of risk, we really have to pull back the lens. Think about a traditional, standard baseball cameo for a second. We've all seen them. A celebrity puts on a team jacket, stands out on the pristine dirt of the mound, awkwardly tosses a ceremonial first pitch, waves politely to the cameras, and then retreats to a completely safe, air-conditioned luxury box. It's sterile, it's perfectly safe. Now, contrast that with a banana ball cameo. It is a completely different universe. You are out there in full uniform, you are actively on the base paths, you are heavily woven into the actual fabric of the game itself, expected to deliver a performance that seamlessly blends elite athletic ability with wild, unpredictable theater. It demands a massive physical investment.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of what we are dealing with. Just look at the attendance numbers on the chart. 101,000 roaring fans packed into Neyland Stadium. And earlier in May, they drew 102,000 at Kyle Field. Banana Ball is now operating on a scale that directly rivals the most massive, highly anticipated college football Saturdays in America. Think about NFL stadiums. Most hold around 70,000. This is blowing right past that. It's not just a novelty act at a local park anymore. This format is filling the absolute largest architectural coliseums in the country. When you perform on this stage, you aren't just making a fun little cameo. You are stepping into the burning hot center of the modern sports world.
Which is exactly why Kamara was the absolute perfect choice for this moment. Let's remember, he is a former Tennessee Volunteer. He stepped onto a field where that massive 100,000-person crowd inherently understood his legacy. They revered him. As the source material notes perfectly, Banana Ball works best when the sport is, and I quote, real enough to matter, but loose enough to welcome theater. Alvin Kamara provided the absolute perfect bridge between those two concepts. He brought the authentic, gritty NFL credibility, he had the deep, authentic local connection, and he had the sheer magnetic charisma to play the part perfectly, transforming a simple, routine run-scoring play into an unforgettable spectacle.
Section 3. An uncertain future awaits. The clock is ticking in New Orleans.
Because eventually, the stadium lights go down, the crowd goes home, the viral clip ends, and reality comes rushing back. Listen to the underlying tension in the words of Saints head coach Kellen Moore when he was asked about integrating Kamara into the new system. He says, quote, "I think part of the offseason process, you're still finalizing some things, but yeah, we're getting close. Finalizing some things, getting close." Look at those words. These are the highly cautious, incredibly calculated words of a head coach who is desperately waiting for his star to fully materialize within the team's framework. The offense needs to find its identity, and right now, that identity is heavily shrouded in a cloud of lingering, uncomfortable questions.
And that deep uncertainty, it echoes all the way up to the very top of the organization. Saints general manager Mickey Loomis, addressing Kamara's contract situation, was starkly, brutally honest. Look at this quote. "Obviously, we'd love to have something done sooner than later, but we're not there yet. We are not there yet." What an absolutely profound contrast. On a Saturday night, Kamara was joyfully dancing at first base without a single care in the world. But back in the New Orleans boardroom, the reality is a tense, highly stressful, unresolved business standoff that could very well define the final years of his career. The joy on the diamond versus the cold, hard business of the NFL. Which leaves us with this final, deeply provocative question. The hamstring grab at Neyland Stadium was an incredible, brilliantly executed ruse. It was a joke that captivated millions online. But as the summer fades and the brutal, unforgiving reality of the NFL season rapidly approaches, are the stakes for Alvin Kamara's upcoming season deadly serious? Is this upcoming year going to be a triumphant, dominating return to form, or are we looking at an unexpected, complicated exit from the very team he helped define for years? The theatrical performance in Knoxville is over. The real game is about to begin. Let us know what you think in the comments. Will Kamara bounce back? Remember to subscribe to NFL Nexus, like the video, and become a channel member to support the channel. We will see you next time.